Well, hello everyone, and we got another Sunday night at the fights here. Just going to start talking about what's going on in the market. It is your boy Nuke out in Las Vegas, bringing you the best real estate news that I can find, and going over the market and giving a little bit of armchair advice or Monday morning quarterbacking, something like that. So let me still bringing up some stuff here. So for those of you who don't know, market is kind of in flux, but in all honesty, I've noticed that it has, hard to believe, gotten a little bit better over the next. Oh, hold on here. Oh no, sorry. Well, let me see if this one still works. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen here. Let's start getting into it. So let me increase this size a little bit and let's go find out what's going on in the market. So usually I say I don't look at these ahead of time. Today I looked at them, and that's why I feel that it's a little bit of good news. And it's purely for the reason of, let's go take a look here. So let's see what has sold so far this month. So as we get into it here, we're on the 28th. And you know what? I'm not even gonna do souls yet. Let's look at actives. Okay, so far in the market, Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, and Henderson. Boom. We have 9,889 available listings between single family, townhome, condos, and such. Which is, I'm sure you understand quite a bit. Let's just get into the solds here. Actually, you know what? I should have just stayed where I was at. Let's see how many single family houses we have. And, you know, of course, in order to know how many single family housing, I actually need to click it. Hold on. Let's go back down there. Okay, so we have 7,955 single-family homes available. Right now, the median list price is $500,000. The average is $726,000. Let's go on back here, and let's see what has actually sold. So let's look at our good numbers here. Oops, got to take the actives out. Ouch. 1,548 have sold. Whoops. Fix that. There we go. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. Because it just showed, well, I guess they're counting Mount Charleston as part of Las Vegas. Because, yep, Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, Henderson. Just making sure. And let's look at these stats. Are they good or are they bad? Okay, so the median close price was $550,000. Interesting. This is the first time I've ever seen that. You see, it's a non-round number, 150. So if you notice the last couple, It's been steady at that. The average has been 542, 689. And based purely on that, well, I'm going to have to say we have actually started to stabilize a little bit. So that is a good thing, especially for the home sellers, home buyers, and such. Let's see how we're doing for the condo and townhome market. Let's just go ahead and separate those out. So condos and townhomes. Okay, so the stats on those babies show 494 sold, median close price of 265, 250. Sorry, I'm something that closed down on me on another screen here, and I got to open it back up. I wanted to compare that against what happened last month for both of them. And as I'm doing that, I realize you're probably looking at my ugly mug. So let's get off my ugly mug here. Okay, so it's 265, 250. So it's down 15, but it's been that for the majority of the month. So we're kind of holding steady there. And I believe it's 265, the last broadcast. So we're actually starting to stabilize there. And let's just go ahead and break this down by condos and townhomes for those who are interested. So for the condo market, those of you who may be interested, 284. Median price, let's call it what it is, 240,000. As you can see, days on market is starting to creep up. So I remember this was significantly less than this. So if you have a condo or townhome, expect to spend a bit more time trying to get it sold. Let's go ahead and get to the townhomes. Let's see how they're looking. 210 sold. 325 is the median, which is only 1,500 less than the list price. So list prices are either stabilizing better where they should be, or people are just, I think it's more of a stabilization. People who are bringing their homes to market now pretty much know they can't overprice, because let's just go ahead and look at what's happened over the last 7 days. So let me do a refresh here. I'll just bring them in here. So 1,126 listings came to market. That is actually down very slightly. The price decreases are holding steady at 1,700, so about 50% more. Now, the solds are holding steady also. So it's been around this number for the past few weeks. So the number of sales is stabilizing. The listings coming on market, but we did see we have more inventory now. So that's something to worry about as the inventory continues to go up. Let's see, let's look at some of these again. Let's go into what it has actually sold during that period of time. And let's go and play our favorite game. What did it look like? So I'm going to narrow this down so it's just easier for us to find it. And let's go find that median priced home. So 450. At the bat, this was sold in 6 days. So let's see what we get here. Okay. Above ground pool. I haven't seen many of those. Not bad. This was sold for 450. Let me I'm gonna do a little privacy here. I'm gonna look into it, see anything that's going on with it. Let's see here. Oops. And I lost it. Apologize for this. I should have noticed what address I was doing before I just went willy-nilly clicking on pictures. Now I feel guilty as heck. Hold on. Well, I'm gonna have to just come up with something else because I'm not finding it. Only gonna give a few more here. Okay. I'm sure you're tired at this point of me just clicking, trying to find the one that I just did with you guys. Disappointed in myself, even. Okay, I'm just gonna have to find something else to wet your whistle here. So I'm looking at this one sold for 450. I'll show you the picture in a second here. Let's see. It was vacant. It's been on the market for 41 days. There were actually 1, 2, 3 price adjustments. So this is one of the things to always look at, the price adjustments. So if they had, priced better earlier, it would have sold and may have sold for even more money. Because when people come in and they're looking at houses, they want to ask the question, why has it been on the market so long? So let me just let you look at this one so you know what we're talking about. Come on. Okay, here we go. So there's this house here, 450. So I'll tell you, start at 475 and had multiple, like I said, 3 price adjustments until it finally settled on the 450 price. Okay, let's go back here. And let's go ahead and take a look at a condo. Okay, so we're looking at about the 265. Fortunately, there's only one of them. Let's see what it. Does that look like a condo to anyone? Hold on here. Let me click into it, see what's going on here. Supposed to be on condos. Nope. That's interesting. Okay. It says single family, which it looked like. So, oops, hold on here. Sorry, I did not click condo. My bad. Okay, let's find that 265. I'm just going to choose the first one. Let's see what we get. Okay, so this is what we're getting for our 265, 1,100 square feet, 2 bedroom, 3 bath with a 1 car garage. It was on the market 6 days. Let's try something interesting here. Let's go into, let's go both ways. So this one here sold immediately, no real time on market. Oh, that's interesting. If you notice, this one looks like it was on the market in 2019, and the agent just took the old pictures and put them here. Let's see. What's so special? Why did this one sell in 1 day? I'm sorry, 0 days. It was probably pre-sold. So let's see here. No, different companies, conventional loan. Uh, yeah, it's normal. So somebody found it, went in there and bought it in 1 day. Let's do the opposite. The one that's been on the market the longest in that price range. Let's see what we get. Whoops. Supposed to be days on market. 104 days. Okay. Okay. 104 days. Let's see if there's anything special that caused it to be on the market so long. Okay. I kind of know what happened here. This one was with one of the major cash buyers, the ones who have the commercials and everything and sending the cards in the mail. So they've been having an issue lately with their houses and getting them sold, because they usually, to get the money back, because they really were offering a lot of money for these houses. And with the market change, they've had to kind of flood the market with them. So let's see here. Yep. Oh my goodness. This sucker hit the market at $325,000, had one, two, three, four price adjustments, then went on the market, then went under contract, fell out of contract in 6 days, then had one, two, three more price adjustments, and then sold. So that's the power of price. Let's see. Okay, I'm sure somebody would like to see that. Oh, here we go here. Okay, so biggest mistake is buying right now when the Fed is determined to reset housing prices back to early 2021 levels. Sure, I was actually going to talk about that a little bit today, so let's go ahead and get into it. Uh, the Fed, one of their main uh, jobs is to control inflation. They can control inflation and other things through two means: the money supply, known as M1, so they can flood the uh, economy with dollars, especially if they want to stimulate the economy. And in order to slow the economy down, they can retract that, and they can also raise interest rates. So that is the main tool that they have. And another thing, just to make sure, I'm sure you know this, Tony, the Fed is not a government agency. Even though the chair of the Fed is appointed by Congress, they do not have to answer to the government. Uh, I don't want to get into that one, but they don't have to answer to anyone. And they have a main job, which is to control certain aspects of the economy to make sure that our economy is strong. And to be honest, I don't think Jerome Powell gives a rat's ass about the housing market right now. He's just trying to do his job, whether we hate it or love it. Uh, for a buyer and a seller right now, those interest rate hikes are just absolutely killing things. There's no nice way to put it. Remember, prior to them raising the interest rates, everything was going strong, stronger than strong. So it was probably a good thing to have a nice little reset in the housing market. But as you can see, every month, well, actually, it took about 2 months for it to really get into effect after the interest rate hikes. But after, everything started to slow down, every month had a change, except for kind of this month, because if you look at the numbers, uh, numbers kind of set themselves in the middle of the month, but I've been tracking the numbers and they have not changed in almost 3 weeks, which means the housing market has settled. The problem with the settling right now is that, I'm trying to think of a nice way to put it, it's settled, the prices have settled, but there are no buyers. We have very few buyers. You can see there are about 600 buyers per week. Prior to the reset, we were averaging 900, close to 1,000. So we only have about 60% of the buyers that we had before, which is, well, we're going to see what it does. It looks like it's going to stabilize, and I don't know. So just the opinion of people who probably don't matter. Some of them think that the housing market is going to get a little bit better in the fall here. So I'm actually hoping so, because I've said this many times. I don't like a buyer's market. I don't like a seller's market. I want a balanced market. Technically, we are still in a seller's market. Technically, the thing is, we were so go for so many years, people don't know what a balanced market looks like. In a balanced, proper market, it should take you 3 to 4 months to sell your house. People aren't used to that anymore. People got used to putting their houses on the market and having it sold. If it's sold in a week and it only had 10 offers, 6 months ago, people would be mad as hell at their realtor. And by the way, your realtor can't control any of that crap. It's all about price, location, all that jazz. It's really price. You overprice it, it didn't sell, even at the hottest parts of the market. And you cannot underprice a house, except for now. I honestly think we can underprice a house. This is the first time I've said that in a little bit of time. And the reason I say that is last Sunday, a week ago, one of my sellers, they just needed to move on. They said, like, what do we have to do? We may need to lower the price here. So I'm going to go and do some analysis. So you've heard me say this before. Only the prettiest and cheapest houses were selling. So when I did that small analysis of the houses that were selling, and it was a random sample, so I could be completely off. I could have just chose the wrong sample. From that random sample, here's what I saw. The houses that went the fastest were vastly underpriced. So if a house was worth 500, it was listed for 450 or less. So those went. And of course, the super pretty houses in the super pretty neighborhoods, they went. But if you have a normal house, they were pretty much selling under value. Last week when I did a 1 week analysis. So I did not do that analysis this week. I mean, we can sit here and do an analysis real quick because people may be interested in it. No, this is Q&A time. I'm really here just to show you some numbers, go through stuff, and we kind of figure out things. So let's just go in here and see what has actually sold in the last 7 days. And we'll stick with for single family since most people are more interested in single family. So from Monday. Whoops, got to clear it out from Monday to Sunday. And I need to get rid of that. So over the past 7 days, 407 homes have sold, single family. Let's see what they looked like. So let's go with the ones that didn't have any, that just went immediately. Let's figure out if they're pretty or cheap. So I'm going to bring up a tool. I'm not going to show it to you purely because it's going to give some information out that you shouldn't have. It's called RPR. Prior to our run up with COVID, it was very, very accurate. It's a tool that is only available to realtors from the National Association of Realtors. So I'm going to let me hide this real quick because I'm going to go into something where you may be able to see some things. I'm going to go in this first one. We're going to see if it sold because it was pretty or cheap. So looking at it, it's okay looking, but let's see if it was cheap. So it was listed for $350. It sold for $344. Since it was only on the market for 1 day, there should not have been any price adjustments, but you never can tell. There's an old trick that people use that I don't know if it's even working anymore, where when you make a major price adjustment, you take the house off the market and then put it back on. So you withdraw it and then put it back on. That way it's supposed to reset, but when it's listed with the same agent, it's going to come up in Zillow as the same. So I'm going to look at this one, and according to this, which takes into account all sales, including this one, since it just sold, this house is worth $367,000. It sold for $344. Math in public, that's about $23,000 less than it was worth. Let's go back and see how pretty it was. I actually believe it was a little bit pretty. So let's see here. Whoops. So no pictures of the interior, but that's a fairly pretty house. Somebody just got it for $23,000 under what the house was valued. Let's look at another one here. No, that's too much money. I like to deal, I'm sorry, 958,000 is too much money. I like to deal with regular folk. So let's see. Man, that's a strange little coincidence. Did you notice that all of these, with the exception of this one here, had one little thing in common? They only had one picture, which tells me the house was somehow pre-sold. So let's see what happened with this one that actually pictures were taken. Let's see here. This is interesting. It was listed for $350. It sold for $361 to a cash buyer. Cash buyer. Let me go in here and see how much the house was worth. This one is strange. Let's see if they went with cheap. They listed it cheap. According to this, it's worth $360. They listed for $350 and got it $361 for it. Interesting. Find that extremely interesting. Let me check one more thing. Aha. See, there's another little pattern I'm seeing here. These houses were coming soons. So they were marketed coming soon. Just from doing these two here, still a small sample, they were pretty much pre-sold. That's probably why they came off the market that very first day. So like this one, I'm looking at the history. Yeah, so watch this. It went on the market at 11:43. It went under contract at 11:44. So yeah, it was pre-sold. Let's go back to the other example we had there and check it out. So I believe it was this one. Yep. Let's go into the history. It was coming soon, and it uh, went. That's interesting. I didn't even know if you can do this. It did not even go active. It went straight from coming soon to under contract. That's very interesting. I don't I don't even know if that's, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it alone. You're actually supposed to do it active, and even if it takes 1 minute. But these that sold really quick were pre-sold. Let's see. Let's check this one out. Nah, it's too small. Let's get something kind of normal. So I'm gonna. That one only has one picture. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Hmm. Let's see here. Let's try this one. So, okay, Chris. Okay, so we're gonna take a look at this one. Sold in 2 days. So for buyers and sellers, it's kind of, oh, it's got a pool. Interesting. There we go. Yeah, decent pool, covered patio, single story. Sorry, got to go a little privacy here. And let's see here. So it was, oh my goodness. Okay, it was done as a 1031 exchange, which really doesn't affect anything. They probably took a loan. They could have paid cash. Could have been anything. It's just part of a 1031 exchange. I'm not going to get too deep into that. House was listed for 465 and sold for 430. So I don't know if somebody was, I don't know, had this in mind or something. Let's go to RPR here and see what it says it's worth. This one's a strange one. The reason I say it's strange is RPR says it's worth 441. They got it for 430, which is true, but it listed $20,000 higher. So in theory, it shouldn't have sold. But maybe somebody came in and realized it was overpriced and just said, "Hey, I'll give you X amount in cash or something," or could have been a loan, hard money. I don't know. Wouldn't be hard money, but yeah, they got it for what would that be? 11,000 under its value. So we're seeing the exact opposite now. Let me see if this one went into the whole thing about being pre-listed. No, came on the market as normal and was sold in 2 days. Interesting, interesting. And it was on the, man, they let them get away with a lot. It was actually under contract for dang near 2 months, probably while they're working out all of the details of the 1031 exchange. Okay. Is there anything anybody wants to see or talk about? I know we got about 8 people here right now. See what's going on with this crazy market. Okay, well, let's go ahead and talk interest rates. I have not looked at this yet. So, OMG. I should like put up my face also. Oh my God. So a 5% conventional loan is 6.25% with a 780 FICO score. Scratching my head here. You may as well call it what it is. It's kind of like, that 0.9 that you see at the gas station. I have no idea why they have it there. It's stupid. 5.99 for VA and FHA is 6%. Conventional is the majority of the loans out there. The majority of people in conventionals take a 5%. So this week it would have cost you 6.625%. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I said something about take advantage because interest rates may bounce back up. Yeah, they bounced up about a point, a whole big old point. So let's take a look here, see what that cost somebody by waiting 2 weeks. So let's go to mortgagecalculator.org. And we'll just put in there 450. 5% down. About 5.5 a couple of weeks ago. I just wanted to be clean. I'm not even worried about the PMI on it. So 2 weeks ago, the payment on that would have been 24.27. With these interest rates, remember that. Oh, I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to bring up the calculator so I don't have to do it in my head. This week, that house cost you $27.37. $310 a month extra that people have to pay because they waited 2 weeks. I'm going to say this. The biggest mistake you can make as a buyer right now is not locking in interest rates when you see it go down. And if you see what Powell said, they're going to be raising interest rates more. So let's see here. Bring this over here. Fed forecast greater pain. That speech has tanked the stock market, driven up interest rates. So they probably factored in a few days prior, but this is absolutely ridiculous. They're going to raise interest rates even more. So the only positive thing I even see out of this is for the last year or so, I've wanted a new car and I refuse to pay those inflated prices. Well, car prices are coming down. So yay. Matter of fact, like a year and a half ago, you couldn't buy a washer or dryer. Sears is full of washers and dryers now. So if you're looking to buy something, it may help out. As long as you're not financing it, because my goodness, auto rates, who knows what they are now. Let's see. Anything else going on? So here. Yeah, so I've already talked about this a few times. The home builders are starting to suffer, which is unfortunately a bad thing. In a way, hopefully it puts them on notice, because they were doing some really stupid stuff. And I know it's supply and demand, but we got up to like $50,000 lot premiums. And the case I talked about in Texas, and the one in Atlanta, where they, a week from closing, they just said like, "Hey, you need to now pay us 100,000 more, or whatever it was, or we're just going to sell it to somebody else because it's worth more." There's this concept in Greek mythology called hubris. I believe they got a little too big for their britches. I hope they learn from this, but you know what? They're not gonna. If things turn around in 6 months or a year, they're going to go back to the same BS they were doing before. Yep, that's what they're going to do. It's sad. It's really sad. Hmm. So, there's fear that the workers may be laid off, all this jazz. I mean, how much do they contribute to it? But, a good buyer thing is go take advantage of it. Like I said, for the first time that I've ever seen, I've been doing this, next month will be 9 years. I have never seen them lower prices. They are lowering prices right now. That was like somebody asked on one of my live streams about uh, the builders lowering prices. I went, no, they don't lower prices. What they'll do is they'll throw incentives at you because they believe lowering prices will devalue their product. Well, there are no more lot fees. The most I've seen has been 2,000. You wanted to look at them like, you got a lot fee? Really? They have been lowering prices, not by massive amounts, but they have been lowering the prices. And the best part, or the next two, they have been giving out incentives like crazy. Go to some of these new bills, they'll give you $30,000 in upgrades. And they've prepaid a low interest rate. So if you use their lender, you can get in at under 5%. And with the interest rates the way they are right now, 6.625%, I'm sure you'd love to have a 5% loan. That's a mistake if you're not using it. As if you're a buyer and you've tried to buy a house over the last couple of years, you have been abused. I mean, Plymouth Rock didn't land on you, didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on you. I mean, that's what happened over the last couple of years. Buyers were absolutely abused. Uh, Take advantage of it. Interest rates, if they keep going up, it's going to hurt you by not getting into the market, because I've said it before. I can run the numbers for you again to kind of show you. Interest rates are more important than a price drop, because let's just look at it. For those of you who've not been here when I've done it. So let's take this 450 house. In reality, let's go back. The market peaked out at 482. Let's say when the market peaked out, you could have gotten, yeah, back then, 3.25%. On a conventional loan, your payment would have been 1992. 1992. We're down to 450 now. It would have been great if you could still pay 3.25%, but if you have to lock in this week, 6.6. Oh my God. And what the, oh, that opened over there. Calculate. So you've got to pay $750 more at a cheaper price. So you have to look at what your goal is. Are you trying to save on the house or trying to save on your monthly payment? If you're paying cash, of course you want to save on the house. If you're trying to pay like normal folks with a loan, you want the interest rate to be as low as possible, because you see the difference from the high of the market with the interest rates the way they were then to where we are now. We're down $32,000, 32,000 on a medium priced home. You would pay $750 more. Oh, what if prices I'm waiting for prices to drop 10%. So if they drop 10%, let's see here. Let's just figure that out. So we already knew where we started there. So we're going to say they dropped 10% from the 482 number. So they get down to 433,800. I'm going to call it 430. They were just absolutely taken advantage of. Even at today's interest rates, if there was a 10% drop, 10%, you'd still be paying over $600 a month more. So you need to take into account what you're trying to do and what your goal is in house hunting. If you're trying to, if you don't care about your monthly payment like a cash buyer, maybe you do need to come in and look at price. You're looking for that 10%. But if you got to make a payment like everybody else, you need to see what that interest rate is doing, because it is killing folks right now. Ninth circle. I'm going to put it this way. You're waiting for both interest rates to drop and prices to drop. If interest rates drop, prices are going to go up. But because of the interest rate drop, even with the prices going up, as you just saw, it'll actually save you more per month, even if prices were to go up. Interest rates are probably not going to go down for a bit. Prices are probably going to slide to the side, but if the Fed does lower the interest rates, remember, interest rates by the Fed Reserve rate is not the interest rate for mortgages. That's controlled by the 10-year bond, but the bond is affected by those interest rates. Sitting around waiting, I can remember when the median price of a house was, after I retired, about $235. So you're sitting around and people are going, "Oh, the prices are too high. I'm going to wait." Those prices never got there. They kept going up. So even with it backing down, the only people who've been affected have been the people who purchased probably January. Everybody else is doing fine. No matter what forecasts right now, I'm going to say interest rates at best will stabilize, may drop back down to the fives, but once they start dropping, it's going to create more demand and the prices are going to go up. It's up to you to decide where you want to drop in there and see if, let's say interest rates were to decline, and let's say they stayed the way they were a couple of weeks ago when we thought things were going to get better. I would probably start before the pendulum swings and prices go up. But I think the pendulum has stopped at the bottom for now because it swung. It's hitting the bottom. We'll have to see here in Las Vegas what happens in the fall market, because some parts of the country, they don't have a fall market or a winter market because they have snow up to their butts. We don't have snow up to our butts here. So it's a year-round market. And we've had a lot of uncertainty over this summer. I think when things stabilize, it's still going to be a balanced market. So it should stay in the 450th, 440-ish range. But I don't know what's going to happen with interest rates. But that's a classic. Matter of fact, I remember one guy. We got this house at $335. Now there's some circumstances we had to drop out, and he still wanted to buy a house. I'll go into it. It's been long enough. It was actually two brothers, both were veterans, and one we were in contract, and one passed away. So, but the other brother still wanted to, think about a house, but they were like, "I'm waiting until interest rates drops to a certain amount." Well, interest rates without putting down points or anything, interest rates never got there. They did get there with points, although I had one person on the live stream claim that they got that interest rate without points. Sometimes people don't know if they paid points or not. They don't really look at it, because I've had a billion veterans tell me that the VA loan is a no down payment, no closing cost loan. It is not. You have closing costs. A lot of veterans over the years, they may have bought a couple of houses. They didn't pay closing costs because their realtor negotiated the seller paying the closing costs. And for the last few years, up until a few months ago, the seller would not pay closing costs, but now they are. About half the contracts right now are with seller concessions. So I would take advantage of that. You would be making a big mistake as a buyer if you're not taking advantage of having someone pay your closing costs. If you're a seller, be prepared to pay closing costs. If you're having an issue selling your house, put that you're paying closing costs in the description to the buyer. So when they're flicking through, they love your pictures and everything else. Oh, they're paying closing costs. I don't even have to go and try to argue. Just one more thing for you. Okay, let's see. Anybody else have any more questions? Want to make sure everyone's taken care of here. Okay, so as far as the week is gone, everything is, like I said, starting to stabilize, but we'll see what happens over the next few weeks because the announcement by the Fed and these current interest rates may throw people for a loop. And we'll have to see because any numbers that we have right now happened an average of 30 days ago. So the market 30 days ago is different from the market now, and we can only use the trends to figure out where we're going. Now, based on what has closed over the last 3 weeks, it looks like a stabilization. Looks like it. It could be a false bottom. We're going to just look at it every week. Too bad we do not have the numbers that tell us like what people offered for a house until it closes. That could really tell us a lot. Okay, I don't see any other questions. I appreciate everybody who was here. Have any questions? I'm always available for them. Just text me. My number is in the description. The info tab. If you click on it, go to the info tab, you'll find my information. Ask me a question. We'll get on it. If you need any help, that's what we're here for. See you guys possibly next week. I said that I was going to do these every 2 weeks, and I've had to break my promise to myself because the market's changing so fast. I felt people needed to have this information. So I will see you next week. Maybe. I'm not promising because I said I'd do it every 2 weeks. Some of those guests I have lined up, I'm still trying to, I have them lined up. I just been wanting to do this stuff more than anything else. I actually got a guy who's going to come and he's going to talk about Airbnb. So if you're trying to do that, because remember, the laws have changed. So you're going to be able to Airbnb. I got somebody coming to talk about rentals. So like if you're trying to rent a house out or going into a rental, top-notch property manager. I have a person who is lined up for talk about reverse mortgages. So like if you're 55 or older, you can actually take the money out of your house, go party like crazy, and your descendants will have to worry about it. And the other person I am working on, I do not have tied down. I got to get really on this one. Is I don't know if you've ever heard of an I-10 loan. This is for folks who are like the dreamers, don't have social security numbers. Well, a year ago, I couldn't find an I-10 loan for anybody to save my life. Best you could get was like 50% down. I found somebody who can do, they just started I-10 loans at 97% LTV. So 3% down for somebody who doesn't have a social security number. Okay. So hopefully that's going to be good for folks. We'll see what happens. Another quarter is about to start. Although technically we're in the still September is still the same quarter. I just start my final quarter at September. So no more questions. I will see you at another time. Thank you.